This is The Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good morning, Tuscaloosa, Internet world, West Alabama. How are we doing today on a Monday? It's the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com. Hope you and yours are doing well. Yes, the sun is out in Tuscaloosa despite some recent developments with the Alabama Athletic Department and the Alabama Athletics world. I know it was a tough weekend on the hardwood. It was a tough weekend in the transfer portal. We're going to talk about all kinds of things right here on the Joe Gaither Show today, right here in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios. We've got our man Theo Fernandez with us. You can call Derek Daniel for all of your insurance needs at 205-758-3391. Like a good neighbor, Derek Daniel is there. Call and see how much he can save you today. We appreciate Derek for hosting the show and taking care of all of our insurance needs. Give him a chance to take care of your insurance needs at 205-758-3391. We're also proudly presented by Purple Turtle Roofing, the best roofing company in the state of Alabama. Call them at 877-787-6635 for all of your roofing needs. Brax Garrison, Dustin Foley, and all their crew will come out, give you a free roof inspection, let you know what your roof needs. If you got any holes, any cracks, any trouble spots, they will give you a free roof assessment if you call them at 877-787-6635. We appreciate them sponsoring the program as well. We appreciate you watching us on the Bama Central YouTube channel, Facebook page, listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. You can find the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. We appreciate you subscribing, rating, and reviewing. Leaving us a comment at Bama Central, at Joe Gaither 6, at Theo Fernandez _. Or if you want to, you can be like our friend Cam Metzger and Hunter Brantley today, calling us on the voicemail machine at 205-462-7340, extension 800. We'll go to the voicemails pretty soon. But first, we need to check in with our guy Theo Fernandez. Theo, how we doing, sir? Watching, are you here? My weekend was a whirlwind, so I'm going to need a lot of help from you today. How are you doing?
I'm doing phenomenal. There are 2 letters on this hat, and I am proud to wear these 2 letters again because the Philadelphia Eagles went out, and we just witnessed the end of the Eagles being a competent football team. This is the end of Philly's era.
Okay.
It's all downhill from here. New York runs the NFC East from this point on with John Harbaugh running the team as head coach. So I'm doing great. It was a fun weekend. Those wild card games were all just sensational up until the end Sunday night. But what a weekend of football, and I know you're happy about your Bears, Joe.
Holy smokes, it just hit me. Going all the way back to Thursday, you had you had a lot of action. You had Ole Miss Miami, right? You had Indiana smoking Oregon on Friday night, and then obviously all the NFL action on Saturday and Sunday as well. So a lot of football, none of it really having to do with Alabama. Alabama's football action was all off the field and not so hot, really. Where to start? Let's start with the easiest and the lowest hanging fruit. The easiest and the lowest hanging fruit is that Cam Coleman was never coming to Alabama, folks. Come on. Cam Coleman was in town over the weekend. Yes. Cam Coleman went to the Alabama basketball game, and Texas won, obviously. But Cam, look, you were never competing $3.5 million for Cam Coleman. It was always, I think Cam Coleman to hang out Tuscaloosa and has a lot of friends that were on the football team, this, that, and the other. I mean, being from what, Central Phoenix City. He and Red Morgan maybe good buddies. He and Isai Faga maybe good buddies, but he was never coming here. So like we can get that out of the way early, and I would not even classify that as, well, the staff keeps missing. Cam Coleman, never an option.
I agree, and you take the visit partly hang out with some guys, partly out of goodwill, right? Being from the state, you come, you check, you do your due diligence. But I do agree. I think it was always going to come down to one of these Texas schools.
All right, so the next easy place is we'll do Hollywood Smothers, then we'll go to the voicemail line. How about that? We'll go to Hollywood Smothers, who flips his commitment. I don't even know if you want to call it commitment. Flips his signature. He's just not. I guess he never signed his NIL agreement here with the University of Alabama. So last week we talked about Hollywood Smothers, running back from NC State, coming to Alabama and being that home run hitter, being a really good vision, not really, kind of a water bug type. A lot of people were throwing Jahmyr Gibbs out there. And okay, if you didn't see it, Hollywood Smothers flips his, I guess, pledge to play from Alabama to Texas as he left town over the weekend and took a visit to Texas. And I guess he has signed pen to paper with the Texas Longhorns. And it's a problem. It's a problem for Alabama. It is. You have the fundamental problem of allowing him to get out of town without without signing paperwork, because we saw what happened with the Washington quarterback. The Washington quarterback signed some paperwork, then decided, oh, there's better offers out there. I want to entertain them. And the Huskies held up that paperwork and said, hey, buddy, you're going to have to pay up some money if you want out of this contract. And also part of this contract is you can't re-enter the transfer portal. And so I think we should look to the Washington quarterback situation for a lot of hope, but hope for college football. But with us specifically right here with Alabama and Hollywood Smothers specifically right here, it becomes a little bit problematic because whoever, in charge of all the steps didn't follow through. I don't want to even say that, because I think that I would imagine that there was paperwork. Hey man, just sign it. Hey man, just sign it. Here we got it. We got your NIL agreement right here. Reportedly he was enrolled in classes. And y'all have been back in school for what, Theo? Just 1 week? Last week was
3 days of class. This will be the 4th.
Okay, so no big deal as far as like you're not quite. You got about another 2 weeks before, if you don't go to class, you're going to be
no problem.
Right. So he enrolls in classes at Alabama. You have three or 4 days of class last week, and then says, I don't know if I'm feeling it. And then obviously the Texas money is at play as well. So Texas swoops in and offers him a big deal. Apparently it was all agent driven. Apparently the agent was still shopping Hollywood Smothers around, and Texas said, yeah, we've got a lot of money for a quality running back, a proven running back. I mean, they've lost a lot of their running backs. CJ Baxter, right, is in the portal. Quintravion Weisner, say that name five times fast. Also gone. So they had a big need at running back. They did get Ray League Brown, Arizona State. Yeah, thank you. They got Ray League Brown out of the transfer portal, and apparently he's going to stay. But basically just Texas playing the game. Texas is playing the game, and Texas has a lot of money, and they're swinging their around, showing their money off and trying to make sure that they're good in 2026. Theo, just your reaction to Alabama losing probably its headline transfer portal player.
Yeah, this one's inexcusable. This is bad. I mean, there's no way to sugarcoat it when I don't understand where we're at as a sport right now, that, we've have numerous cases of guys signing, committing, and then, no, I'm actually gone. It's nothing new, right? It's happened before this year, but as things keep progressing to this point, it gets more and more frequent. So complete, in my eyes, letdown on this staff. Why was this contract not signed? And if it wasn't signed, right, if you knew, okay, wait a minute, this guy's committed, but we don't have anything in paper, maybe we should be concerned. Maybe we should be actively looking for, okay, what are we going to do if this falls through? I don't know if this team has a plan for Hollywood Smothers leaving. I don't know who the last-minute running back addition is going to be. It's not going to be a guy of Hollywood Smothers' caliber, right? Like, Riley Brown, we'll use that as an example. That's a former 5-star. That is a really highly touted player, a really talented player who could come in here and make things happen. You got to have a guy like that, I guess, in your back pocket for this situation, right? Like, you have to, I guess, if a guy commits but doesn't sign, have to be ready to instantly pounce on someone else. And yeah, it's a tough job, but this is the state of the sport right now. Why was this contract not signed? That's what I'm coming back to again.
Well, apparently one of the other Texas running backs, Christian Clark, is entertaining going in the transfer portal as a response. So, like, you probably or you might get a little bit of chance to, swap one for one. Like, it may work out for Alabama. Now, Christian Clark is not Hollywood Smothers, but he might cost you a lot less than Hollywood Smothers would. So you make the trade if you're able to land Christian Clark. If you're even interested in Christian Clark,
and that's the thing. There's so many. This is a hypothetical move,
right?
You had something supposedly in stone here.
So if you were even interested in Christian Clark, who number 4 running back, number 3 overall in the state of Arizona, basically top end recruit in Arizona class of 2024. He ended up playing, suffered season ending injury during fall camp for at Texas, and then made let's see, what did you run for in 2025, big dog? You were 8 games, 56 attempts, 236 and 2 touchdowns. So averaged 4.3 yards per carry for Texas last year as a redshirt freshman. He'd be a redshirt sophomore. If he leaves Texas and that's who you're interested in, you can do a 1-for-1 swap and probably pay less money. I don't know if this is a bad loss for Alabama on the football field because of what you've got in the running back room already. I just think it's a bad loss for Alabama, optically speaking. I do like Daniel Hill, I like Kevin Riley, I like EJ Crowell, I like AK Deer. Excuse me, I like all those guys, and I think EJ Crowell might be some special sauce. But I mean, you guys have heard me all year pound the AK Deer drum. I think he is a special player as well, has the potential to be a special player as well. And so, like, the running back room may be just fine without an extra veteran running back. I do think Hollywood Smothers offered you a home run threat that you didn't quite have before. I do think EJ's got a top end gear. I think AK might have a top end gear like Hollywood Smothers, but the point being, it's just optics. It's bad optics. It's sloppy. It's sloppy work in the transfer portal. We're going after a guy. Oh, we apparently have got his commitment. He's even enrolled in classes, but we didn't follow through with the paperwork, or he didn't follow through with the paperwork. Somebody didn't follow through with the paperwork, and he's taking a better offer somewhere else at no penalty. If this were the Washington quarterback and he would determine to go to a different place, well, Washington would be getting compensation and there'd be eligibility fights and this, that, and the other. The Washington quarterback decided not to deal with all that stuff and stayed at Washington. I think this is just a bad look optically for Alabama. I don't know if you're really still, if you're crying over the running back room.
Yeah, that's a fair take, but I don't think you're overly happy about it, right?
Well, no, you're not happy.
You're not. And AK Deer, I think, can be a phenomenal football player. I think he should develop. I think people expect him to develop. I think his potential, I mean, this was one of the top recruits in the country. We were so excited when he committed for a reason, right? Daniel Hill, he showed flashes, and excited to see what he can do after another full year of development. The fact of the matter is this Alabama program is the kind of program that brings in the Hollywood Smothers no matter what. That gets this guy here and adds another piece, and all of a sudden you have an incredibly stacked running back room, and it's an absolute strength on your football team. It is just such a horrible look. And a lot of, you can look at the transfer portal this cycle as a whole for Alabama, right? And you lost a lot of players. We saw the Clinton Dix tweets, right? Like, there's not a ton to be concerned about, all things considered. I think some people are there's stuff to be concerned about, but I think some people are overreacting in some senses. But something like this, just the whole Hollywood Smothers situation, I think, leaves a bad taste in many people's mouths for good reason. Like, this is just not, it doesn't strike confidence in the people running the football team.
Well, yeah, I understand that, and I agree with that, but I think that this portal window cycle needs to adjust and adjust Alabama fans' expectations for what like. Look, it's very clear you don't have Texas money. It's very clear you don't have Texas A&M money. You may not even have Vanderbilt money. It's very clear you don't have Indiana money, Mark Cuban. It's pretty clear. I mean, throw me some others. You don't have Oregon money,
Michigan.
Exactly, Michigan either. Like, some of these programs have lots of money, right? I don't know exactly where you are in the money sphere. Like, you don't have, you're not operating like LSU's football program is at the moment, where they're throwing money at everybody to make sure that Lane Kiffin ends up with a good team. And whether that be on the lack of Yay Alabama subscribers, I saw a lot of people, well, if you're not subscribed to Yay Alabama, you can't complain. I'm like, I really don't think your $50 a year, your $50 a month is going to end up getting transfer portal XYZ player here. So essentially, like, you need to take a long, hard look in the mirror. And yes, be happy with the 2025 recruiting class. Look at the 24 recruiting class. It was still pretty good as well. Be happy with the 26. Be happy with the 26 recruiting class, the upcoming one, the one that's mostly signed and all committed. The 25 class was pretty good. Coach DeBoer and company, held that together and reworked that pretty quickly. It just may be a situation where you are recruiting high school talent. You just might take a little bit more time for DeBoer and his staff because of the budgets to, hey, we're recruiting high school kids or we're going to develop them. Well, if that's the case, then their first recruiting class, 25, the AK Deers, the Luke Metz class, basically the Duke Johnson class, the Dijon Lee class, Caleb Edwards class, right? The Keelan Russell class. What's that? Michael Carroll. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. That class just finished their freshman year, and those guys were all contributors in different ways, pretty much, and at different levels, but all pretty much. I mean, you saw their numbers and their names and their faces on the field this year. We remember we can go back even the 24 class, the Xavier Brown class. You saw their names and faces on the field a lot, right? The Xavier Brown, Ryan Williams, basically your best two players all over the place. Like, so you're still fairly young. And the 2026 class has a lot of promise, has a lot of excitement. At least I believe. A lot of them are enrolled already, working. And so, like, you're just going to have to get the babies to grow up. But the staff has to adjust. Like, in the transfer portal, like, yeah, you bring in Cam Coleman for a visit, but you never are throwing big money at him, because save that money. I had a friend message me the other day, and I think they're exactly right. I had a friend message me and say that Alabama needs to take a Moneyball approach and be looking for, Division II, FCS team players, disgruntled, Power 4 players, basically looking to do what we did with the Mississippi State kid that Alabama just received. Alabama just got a defensive lineman later on Sunday night from Mississippi State by way of North Carolina. Basically, this guy is going into his 7th year of college football. You ended up with Kedrick Bingley Jones. Is going into his 7th year of college football and had a pretty productive year for Mississippi State this year with 13 games, 25 tackles, a quarterback hurry, and a pass breakup in 13 games. Has been injured different years, basically taking a COVID year, taking an injury year here or there, redshirt year, and he's going into his 7th year. And so Bingley Jones is rated as the 121st defensive lineman in the transfer portal class by Rivals. Okay, that's going to make what are we doing? 121, that's no good. Only 25 tackles, no sacks last year. What are we doing? Like, you're gonna have to go under the hood and look and recruit. Look at what you did with London Simmons. London Simmons is a good example, but on the opposite spectrum. Like, you've got to take two different tracks here, Theo. You've got to look at London Simmons and say, yo, you're a 3-star player in Mississippi. You're under recruited. Come to Alabama and develop. And then in the transfer portal, you need to supplement our roster with old men with chips on their shoulder. Old men who, you're in your 7th year, bud. This is your last chance to make it to the NFL. This is your last chance to make an impression on the NFL. Otherwise, it's insurance for you. Otherwise, it's Canadian Football League if you want us to keep playing football. It's the XFL or whatever they're calling the spring league at this time. USFL, whatever they're calling it at this time, right? You've got one more chance, big guy. Bingley Jones, are we, hanging the banners that you brought in one of Mississippi State's veteran defensive linemen? No, I don't think you are. But I think this is a really good example of what needs to happen for Alabama. You have to get creative. You're not going to be able to just say, hey, like, who are some other big transfer portal targets this past year? Not for Alabama specifically, but just in general.
I mean, like Ty Haywood is one.
Okay, he's still out there, right?
He was just back in Ann Arbor last night, actually.
So he's going back to Michigan.
That's what it looks like. But he's still on the market. He just went back to Ann Arbor. We don't know what it was for.
Well, I think that pick your favorite big name in the transfer portal, whether it's Deuce Knight going from Auburn to Ole Miss, whether it's Cam Coleman going from Auburn to Texas. It doesn't really even matter. I mean, Nate Frazier's in the transfer portal for Georgia. Like, would we love to have Nate Frazier? Yes, you would. But it's probably going to cost $2.5 million. And you don't you look at the money pile, and you've got, okay, rev share is basically $18-20 million. And what is the Alabama booster? What's the Alabama money on top of that? Is it 10 million? Is it 10 million? So your roster 27. Like, it's not the same as LSU. It's not the same as Texas, who they say is going to be creeping up on a $40 million roster. So they've got basically double. Texas got basically double your money, and so you've got to spend it wisely. You can't go take half of your NIL check for one player. Like, whether it be best offensive lineman in the world. Like, you need to get creative and scout these guys from lower levels who are hungry. I mean, I hate to make it this way, but exactly what Indiana is doing now. Indiana's got the money at this point, is getting more money, getting more funding. But at the time, I mean, Cignetti, they just had about the same as everybody else because of the investment and the buy-in. I mean, you heard Mark Cuban, this year's check makes them a lot happier than last year's check. Like, they were always operating on the budget that they're operating on now. Same thing with Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt goes out and takes half of New Mexico State's roster and takes their coaching staff and and they pair everybody up together. And now the alums are all inspired. Like, the alums are inspired to be able to, oh man, we just won 10 games this year, 10-2 with Diego Pavia. Of course, we'll pay for a guy like Jared Curtis because we saw what you could do. Like, so Alabama, the Alabama fan base needs to, in my opinion, calm down just a little bit as far as this staff sucks, this staff is terrible, because a lot of the young recruiting, the 24, 25, and now 26 class, and especially 25 and 6 with this coaching staff, looks good. Looks like they've got promise. Now, we'll see how the staff adjusts as far as supplemental. And I think last night's move with Bingley Jones is a pretty nice picture, pretty nice example of how they can move and improve. Because you don't want to have guys, look, you don't want to have all your guys thinking, well, they're just going to recruit right over me. Look at your defensive lineman right now. Do you want to recruit over London Simmons, over Edric Hill, over Jordan Renaud, or do you want those three guys to develop over the summer and take another large step forward or a significant step forward in their abilities and their skill set and their production? If those three guys do take a step forward, and you're bringing back Jeremiah Beeman as well, you got Isaiah Faga, you've got, Patitua Henry, who you brought in from junior college. Were you developing him over the year or not? Steve Bolabumwa, were you developing this year or not? Like, you get these guys growing, supplement them with depth, older depth. I think you're going to be just fine.
Yeah, it's
where are you at, like, with what Alabama? Like, I guess this conversation's gone in like so many different directions.
Yeah, and there are a million.
My ADHD is going crazy right now because it's like you want to talk about specific recruits or specific wins and losses in the transfer portal, or do you want to talk philosophy? It's kind of like both.
All right, so first of all, there's the underlying fact that you're still down a bunch of players, right? You have to get bodies on the team, right?
Sure.
That's one part of it. Going beyond that, you look at it philosophically. You look at where we were a year ago, right? I just feel like there's a lot of truth to what you said. It's not what Alabama fans want to hear, and that's never going to change, but it feels like there's some goalposts moving to me. Feels like a year ago we're talking about this program and, oh, look, 0 players left in the spring transfer portal window, right? And that could be true again this year, right? We could hit the spring and everyone's locked into the team.
Well, there's no more spring window.
Oh, yeah.
That's part of the reason why this window is going so crazy.
That is something I didn't need to forget about. But regardless, you look at all the players leaving, and it feels like a bit pronounced from what there was last year. And I am concerned about the idea of Alabama taking this quote unquote money ball philosophy. Not because you want to spend money wisely. You want to spend it in a way that makes sense. You don't want to go out and, it's like you're driving to buy a new car, right? You're not going to drop $100,000 on, some sports car just because it looks nice, right? You don't need to get the flashiest running back. You don't need to get the highest name players value to getting the undervalued players, but every single athletic department in the country, with the exception of the handful that we named earlier, is taking this exact same philosophy. So now, in my eyes, you've gone from operating at the highest level, going for the highest caliber players year in, year out, to now, okay, we've dropped down a bit, and yeah, sure, we have more money than most of these other power programs. We have a prestige that should help us out a little bit there. But at the end of the game has changed. Yes, that is undeniable. I get worried about the idea of Alabama operating at the mindset of a different kind of program of, see nothing wrong with bringing in a defensive tackle from Mississippi State who can probably plug in and play a role on this football team, right? In a vacuum, that's not a bad addition. When that is the basis for the entire roster construction, right? When you're taking that mentality for everyone, I get a little concerned about, well, how much is this going to affect things? How much is this going to affect things with the on-field performance? How much is this going to affect things with the caliber of freshmen that you're able to bring in the future? I don't know. It's such a departure from what we've seen at this program. And it is still the complete Wild West of recruiting, of transfers, of NIL. There's still so little basis for everything that's being done, and a lot that teams don't know, and a lot that's going to be learned philosophically about how to operate in this era still. But I'm a little concerned with the direction with the way that this went for Alabama and the direction that it appears that Alabama is going, which is a lot of the stuff that you outlined, Joe.
Well, I'll spin you back to the class of 2024. I do think it's okay to be concerned, because I am concerned as well. I'll be with you that it's not a great look. I'm starting to wonder: are you going to have a playoff team or not? Is Keelan Russell going to be, or is Austin Mack going to be running for their life? Whoever it is, and whoever it is, I mean, here's the other factor, Theo. If Keelan Russell or Austin Mack have a huge year, Like, let's say, boom, you overthrow for 4,000 yards. Oh, great. 25, 30 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Oh, they're good. You got Alabama on the cusp of the playoffs, in the playoffs, winning playoff games, whatever the case may be. Whoever the quarterback is, are they going to be tampered with by LSU, by Texas, by Oregon, by, whoever the case may be? Like, that might really be a thing, but that's 12 months from now. Go back to the 2024 class, because you these guys are now going to be sophomores, right? Yes. 24, 25. No, these guys are sophomores. These guys are going to be juniors, right? 24 class, freshmen, 25 sophomores. Now they're going to be juniors. They're going to be juniors. And from this 24 class, you've retained Ryan Williams, Xavier Brown, Zay Mincy. You lost no Carter, Caleb Odom. You still have Jeremiah Beeman, Daniel Hill, Kevin Riley, Casey Poe. These guys are all transfer portal now. Red Morgan, you've got him still. You got Rico Scott. You have William Sanders. You have Isaiah Faga. You have Caden Jones. You have Drake Kirkpatrick Jr. You have QB Reese. And you have Steve Bolabumwa. Like, so college football is going to go through another change in about 2 years. These COVID players who have their extra years, like this young man, Kedrick Bingley Jones, he's going into his 7th year. He had a COVID year, a red shirt, and a medical red shirt. So 3 different freebie years. Now, obviously, nursing some injuries and rehabbing in those years. But we just need to go get guys like Indiana has. They're all old. That's going to work for about another year and a half. And you saw Trinidad Chambliss have his waiver denied.
He's going to court, though. He's going to fight it.
He's going to fight it, of course.
He'll win.
But the point being is, like, you're going to start seeing some of these guys like, hey, man, you've had your 5 years. Mm-hmm. You're gone. You had your 5 years. You're gone. I think. And so you need to get back to the heart of college football. I think the Washington quarterback is going to help you get back to the heart of college football. Hey, man, you signed your letter of intent. You're here for a year. You're here for 2 years. I hope that they can work this to about a 2-year deal, but I think that's probably about the max. At the minimum, you're here for a year, and you're locked in, right? This 24 class, the heart of it, the baseline of it is still on campus going into year 3, going into their junior year. Now you've got the transfer portal window open for 4 more days. I think it closes on Friday, and so you've got the portal open for a couple more days. So maybe all these guys can go in the portal and when we hit end on the on the recording today. But I do believe that you are developing the talent. And, like, look, whether you like Ryan Williams this season or not, he's arguably the most talented player in the class, and you're still developing him. Xavier Brown is number 4 on this list, 5-star player, and you're still developing him. You've retained some of your top-end talent. You've retained some of the talent that would, if they went into the transfer portal, would be commanding $2 and $3 and $4 million, $1 and $2 and $3 and $4 million. You look at the 25 class, and it's the same thing. Like, you kept Keelan Russell, Michael Carroll, Dijon Lee, your top 3 guys, all still on the team. Ivan Taylor, 4, 5, Chuck McDonald, 5, Jackson Lloyd, 6, Derek Meadows, 7, all still on the team. Justin Hill, 8, A.K. Deere, Caleb Edwards, all still on the team. Duke Johnson, Marshall Pritchett, Mal Watt, you got to go all the way down to Micah DeBose before you've lost a guy in the 25 class, which he signed with Vanderbilt, committed to Vanderbilt. I think that's going to be probably a good move for him. But the point is, I think that if you just are patient with the staff, they're going to keep recruiting high schoolers at a high level and trying to retain as best they can, develop, and basically you're still in the reset from the Nick Saban era. And also dealing with the rules changing and the best practices changing. What's best practices? Is best practices going to give Cam Coleman $3 million? Is it going to give Lance Hurd from tackle from Tennessee $3 million? Jakaris Peak, that's what everybody wanted. NC State, a bunch of money. No, he goes to South Carolina. Yeah. I just think that you're in a really crazy part in college football right now. And while I think it's okay to be concerned, I also think that you probably just need to hang on, take a deep breath, log off for a little bit, and see what the roster looks like when it's actually fully constructed.
I mean, right? That's a hard thing to get anybody to do right now. I'm gonna be frank, and because I don't necessarily agree with that. I think there's plenty of reason to be concerned, even with everything we've said about just
Well, okay.
you have 4 days.
Then I'll ask you.
You have 4 days, and you're 12 players in the hole. You got a lot of guys.
No. You don't have to get them committed in these 4 days. You don't have to get them committed in these 4 days. They just have to be in or out of the portal in 4 days. The portal window closes as far as you're in or out. Now, what will be a problem is Jimmy, 4-star transfer portal guy, buddy. You got to get enrolled in school.
Yeah,
you got to get enrolled in school, and of course the academic tutors will help them catch back up, obviously. But that's the only sense of urgency here as far as bringing guys in. Once they're in the portal, they're in the portal.
Yeah, obviously they get to sign with the team.
But I'll ask you. You said I don't necessarily agree with that, and you said there's a lot of reasons to be concerned. Well, what should they do? Should they just empty all the money out for who's the next highest rated tackle on here? It is, let's see, Tegra Tashabala from Ohio State doesn't have a home yet. Doesn't have a home yet, and obviously you do have Ty Haywood, who's not committed on what he wants to do yet. Do you just throw all the money at Ty Haywood and just say hope you fix it, buddy? Well, what would you do? How would you advise the staff to make the most out of limited resources?
Well, that's kind of, I think, one of the bigger things that I don't know, that you don't know, that, I think it's easier to be frustrated about something when you don't really have an answer, because there is no answer, right? You have to toe the line perfectly of paying for top level talent while being, conservative, not overspending, because you buy whatever tackle and then he blows out his knee in practice, and there's, right, knock on wood, like there's the season almost.
Right.
So I think the only things that make me concerned are when you go after the top level talent, you have a guy that you want to bring in that you think, we would like to go and spend a lot of money to bring in this guy because we think he could be a special player for our football team. And he just gets flat out beat by another program, and there's nothing he can do about it. And then you're set back at that position. Like, I don't know. I feel like we're going in circles a little bit right here, just because there's so much that's still up in the air. And, I think that this conversation, us talking about the transfer portal window in 1 year, regardless of how Alabama does on the field in 2026, regardless of how the 2026 transfer portal cycle goes, I think our conversation just about how the transfer portal operates and its fundamental, operations, like, I think it'll look so much different as things develop. Right?
Yeah, it will. It will.
Year after year, like, it just continues to evolve. Just as this conversation would have been different 1 year ago and 2 years ago, like, we are still in a completely chaotic, wild era.
All right,
I'll leave it.
So let's go to the voicemail line, because I know you're running short on time. Did you get classes on Mondays?
Yeah, I do. Unfortunately, I have to be a student on Mondays now.
Dang, you were so good last year without classes on Monday, or at least Monday morning. That's okay. We'll go to the voicemail line and we will wrap this bad boy up. I'll just admit it to you guys. I didn't watch a second of the basketball game. I was tied up with the Chicago Bears. So we said Hunter Decipher, Will Miller, and Katie Wyndham to the basketball game on Saturday, losing to Texas. I mean, a handful of losses to Texas in a row. I don't really count the Cam Coleman loss, but you got Hollywood Smothers and on the basketball floor losing to Texas. I think one of these voicemails is going to be about the basketball. So when that comes up, Theo, you can react to it. But we've got a couple of voicemails. You can call us at 205-462-7340, extension 800.
What's going on, guys? Cam here. going to keep it short and sweet and straight to the point. We are in so much trouble next year on the offensive line. Like, bad. Like, who do we have? Like, especially, like, reserve-wise, we have nobody. Especially people with playing experience. Yeah, we could fire the offensive line coach. That would be a start. But even if we do keep him or fire him, will it make much of a difference? I hate to sound so negative, but it's the God-honest truth. Well, I think we are screwed on the offensive line. I sure hope Keelan Russell can move around and be able to play like Bryce Young used to, because I have a feeling he is going to be under duress. But love the show. Roll Tide anyway.
Whew. Now, I do think that that's the biggest area of concern.
It is.
By a mile. And he's right. Lack of playing experience, lack of depth. You did go out and get the Caden Strayhorn from Michigan. Good get. Kind of, I think I wish you would spend on Ty Haywood. I don't know if you have enough money to. I wish you would go get an experienced offensive lineman who is hungry for an opportunity. Go scout some offensive linemen. You did bring in, you've got a pretty nice little recruiting class. I do think that you've got a pretty good recruiting class of offensive linemen, particularly with Chris Booker. But Jackson Lloyd was a great get last year. Haven't seen him. Don't know what he's going to end up being. Michael Carroll was a good get last year. Pretty good little first year. To me, it's Chris Booker is the freshman who to kind of watch out for. You ended up with Bear Fretwell as well. You ended up with Tyrell Miller, 6'5", 305. So you kind of went, I think, a little discount on those two guys, but I think that they're kind of underrated aspect. Jared Doty from Atlanta is a tackle, 6'5", 300, but Cam is right. No real experience along the offensive line. All right, let's keep going here. Next one is Hunter, I believe.
This has been a terrible week. This has been one of the worst weeks in this athletic program's history.
Whoa!
No ifs, ands, buts about it. Lose to Texas last night. Cam Coleman flips or signs with Texas. And then Hollywood Smothers flips from Alabama to Texas. I mean, I'm just baffled by this whole thing from the football side of things. Basketball, we'll worry about that later. But football-wise, I'm just perplexed and confused with everything. Everything. And it just pisses me off when I say we whiffed on Cam Coleman, which we did. We brought him in for a visit. We wanted Cam Coleman. We did not land him. We failed. That is considered a whiff. Period. But my question is how do we keep losing these guys? I don't want to hear, oh, we don't have the money. We don't have the money for him. We can't pay him. We can't pay $3.5 million. He went there all because of the money, and we don't have that. Well, where's the money at? When you look at our roster right now, we have 5 scholarship wide receivers and 4 scholarship running backs. We've signed 1 offensive guard. 1. We've signed 1 linebacker. We have $20 million in NIL. Where's the money at? You can't keep using that excuse every time you lose a guy in the portal that you don't sign that you want. That is a lame, bleeping excuse. Don't give me that anymore. If you keep missing out on these guys, spend money on them. You can't just keep doing that. There's no way Ron Williams is making $5 million. There's no way Keon Russell's making $10 million. There's no way. We have money somewhere. Spend it. You just can't keep doing that stuff, man. That doesn't make any sense. It's nonsensical to keep saying that. It really is. Gosh. It's just ridiculous, dude. Like, you have to spend money at some point on someone. Again, the cupboard is bare. We can't fund the team right now. We should have money. Don't give me the excuse, oh, we can pay $3.5 million. Why not? Why not? Why couldn't we? Who else are we spending money on? I'm waiting. No one. There's no one good enough to be spending $5 million on this roster right now. Nobody. Good Lord, man. We're so cooked.
And there is my
What's going on,
problem.
guys? Came.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Yeah.
There's my problem with the whole conversation we just had. Everything you said, all the intelligent stuff, good takes over, like in theory. Hunter, what he just said is what the fan base is feeling. And he got it across better than most people could, but he outlined the points there. He outlined everything that people feel frustrated about. How do you tell them not to be concerned? How do you tell them, the people who've watched this program their whole lives, who've seen Alabama, and how do you tell them, like, oh yeah, no, it's okay that we have this offensive line right now. It's okay that our linebackers are this decimated, that, we couldn't land the receiver, that we can't land the top shelf talent, that we don't have them. Like, you can't
Well, you're probably
go
paying,
out there and tell them to be calm.
Well, you're probably paying Sedarian Morgan something. You're probably paying Xavier Griffin a little something. EJ Crowell a little something. You're probably like look at these recruiting classes over the last couple of years and look at who you've retained. You go back. You're probably paying Ryan Williams and Xavier Brown a decent amount of money. Like, it starts to stack up pretty quickly when everybody's getting $750. When everybody's getting $750, that's going to give you. Let's just do a little calculator real quick. Just divide 20 million, which is really not 20 million because you've got to rev share with basketball, which gets 3 to 5, right? Somewhere in that range. It's you're allocated. Basically, it was what, 20.5 million. Subtract 3 to 5, basically from that. That's basketball. Subtract another 1 million, maybe 2, and that's all your non-rev sports. And you're sitting at 17. You're sitting at 16, right? That's probably right about where you are. You're anywhere between 15 and 17 million dollars to this football team. So we'll take 17, 100,000. 1 million, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? That's enough zeros. 17. All right. Divided by $750,000. 750, 1, 2, 3 is 22 players. 22.6 for 23 players. 22, almost 23 players. How many people start?
Yeah.
How many people start?
22 players.
like the math is mathing. The math is mathing right there, and you're giving Ryan Williams $1 million. So you cut 350 off of somebody's out of somebody's contract. Like, the math is mathing, and it's a big puzzle.
But not, a lot of these starters are making less. Like,
all right, they're not all making $750,
right?
But
rumor
has it that Jalen Mbakwe was at $600,
yes,
and gave you 2 receptions and 1 rush. Like, and then, hey, buddy, we're reworking your contract. Okay, I'm going to Georgia Tech. It's not 20 million because basketball gets a cut. Let's just say basketball's at 2 million. So, okay, it's 18 million. Like, that's another 2 players basically for football.
Yeah,
at 750. It runs out quick.
It does.
And I love Hunter's passion. I do love Hunter's passion. I appreciate it. And Cam goes, is Ryan Williams really worth 1 to 2 million? Great question.
And there's another, you talk about
great question.
You have to be really economical. You have to really be smart with how you spend your money. If we were playing that game, right? If we were purely Moneyball gets rid of Ryan Williams. Right?
Probably.
Like, if we're purely implementing that strategy, everybody is on a year-to-year evaluation.
1,000%. But then you also have to factor in beyond the production, which is annoying. But, like, okay, you got Ryan Williams' production, and then you have Ryan Williams, what he means to the team, what he means to the program, what he means to the in-state kid, 5-star player out of Mobile, everybody loves him. He's every 6-year-old's favorite player. Like, look, fans that have watched football for a long time know, oh man, Ryan, you dropped a bunch of passes this year. You probably weren't worth $1 million. You probably were, good receiver, not all world receiver. But Billy first grader, right? Billy second grader, who's barely watched football in their lives, they love Ryan. I need my Ryan Williams signature. I want my Ryan Williams jersey for Christmas. I want my Ryan Williams podcast. I want to watch my Ryan Williams YouTube show. Billy fifth grader, seventh grader, right? Like, so what does he mean to the team? Okay, maybe he makes up for it right there. And like, so that's not really satisfactory to the football heads. I understand that. I definitely understand that, because to me, it's like, what did you do on the field? I don't care what you do. I don't care about your time on Twitch and how popular you are. But there is a little element of that. How popular are you? There's a little element of that.
Yeah, and that's why you can't take the pure Moneyball approach, because at the end of the day, there's so much more than that here. There is the aspect of, we just lost two very, very highly rated recruits, guys who were producing on this team that were from in-state in James Smith and Russo, right? The fact that is always going to hurt more than other players entering the portal, right? That is going to be wait a minute, this guy grew up watching this dynasty. This guy's probably wanted to play for Alabama his whole life. This guy was producing on this football team, and now is leaving. Like, there are too many layers to this thing to take,
which is why it's not simple enough.
Particular approach,
right? Which is why I don't think it's very smart to just take the simple. Well, the staff sucks. Well, the staff's juggling about 20 different aspects and layers to all this stuff, and it's tough.
This is so much more complicated than running a pro team.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
It's night and day.
Yeah, because my pro player, Billy running back, I've got him under contract for 4 years. I don't have to worry about, his contract until 3 years. And hopefully he stays healthy. Hopefully he produces. And if he produces at a high level, we'll give him a raise. All right, you got a couple more minutes left. I think we have a rebuttal from Cam.
I can go another 10 minutes.
Good Lord, man.
Oh,
we're so cooked.
Yeah, there we go. That was the end of Hunters.
What's going on, guys? Cam again. Just saw the news about Hollywood and Cam Coleman and everyone else we swinging this at. That's another reason I called. Courtney Morgan come out saying that, roster retention and high school recruiting is going to be his main goals, and the transfer portal last. But I honestly feel like in this day and age, I feel like the portal should be first, because basically all you're doing with these high school recruits is bringing them in, which is great. You're bringing in good young talent, but all you're really doing is just getting them developed to go somewhere else down the road. I feel like you're honestly wasting your time and effort with these high school kids. But I just want to get it out there and see what y'all thought about it. Roll Tide, guys.
Roll Tide. I understand that sentiment. I definitely understand that sentiment. But I mean, because when you see the numbers turnover every year, 18 to 23 players out of the program every year. Take us back to the 2023 class, Theo, and it's pretty terrible. Yes. Keon Keeley gone, Caden Proctor, NFL draft. I mean, you kept Proctor, NFL draft now. Caleb Downs gone. Yanzi Pierre, you have 4 more days to hold on to Yanzi, basically. Make sure he stays. Justice Haynes gone. Jalen Hale, Des Ricks, James Smith, Quay Russaw, Jalil Hurley, Malik Benson, Jordan Renaud still on the team. Okay. Richard Young transferred. Justin Jefferson out of eligibility. Owas gone. Eli Holstein, Hunter Osborne, Wilkin Formby gone. Tony Mitchell long gone. Edric Hill still on the team. Okay. Miles McVay, Ty Lockwood, Dylan Lottigan, Jaron Hamilton, Cole Adams, Bray Hubbard still on the team. Bray Hubbard, NFL draft decision to make. I think the NFL draft deadline is Wednesday, I believe. I'll look that up before tomorrow's show. Rock Montgomery long gone, and Connor Talty still on the team. So handful of guys, just a small handful. I think you can count them on one hand. Was that right? I think you could have counted them on Talty, Hubbard, Talty.
I think it was 4 players.
Edric.
Renaud
and Yanzi, right? That's 5. There you go. So 5 players from the 23 class still on the team.
The draft deadline is Wednesday, by the way.
Yeah, I thought it was. So I understand what Cam's sentiment is, but you look at the 24 class, who's rising juniors, and you retained a good bit more. So, like, if this staff can be different, can zig where everybody zags, like, you got to give them a little time, because I know it feels like you're missing every player. Every player, you're missing out. You're missing out. You're missing out. But if you retain the 24 class like you are, and they grow as redshirt sophomores and juniors, third years, and the 25 class stays around like it has so far, like, this could be the path. And look, the NCAA is going to start washing a lot of these old men out. All these, COVID this and extra year that, and I didn't get my chance because D2 this, and all, like, they're going to wash some of that. So it's only that track, that river, that path of, let's just ride this river of all these old players, like, that's going to dry up in the next 3 years, 2 to 3 years.
You know, everything that Cam said is what's happened in college basketball.
Oh, yes.
For good reason. I see a lot of, it's a very valid take, and it makes a lot of sense to run a football team like that as well. And I'm not saying it's the best way to do things, because I don't know. But I think that you look at the success that these teams have had doing it, that, you look at how much more valuable it's, like, if you're not going to be the school that's bringing in all of the elite talent, right? If we're putting Alabama and saying, yeah, we can't land all of these top tier guys year in, year out like we used to. We can't land and keep them, right? We might be able to bring in a top 5 recruiting class, but let's say a couple years pass and all of a sudden, oh, wait, this 2024 class is gone. This 2025 class has 7 players left entering their junior year. Like, if it continues to reach this point, yeah, why not just put the effort into bringing, we have a team who can look at these really undervalued players like you talked about earlier, Joe, and you can build around them. And every year your roster looks different. And that's the way a lot of schools are going to be running their programs. Would it be crazy to say Alabama might be one day? I don't know. I don't know where any of this is going, but
16 of the 27 enrollees from the 24 class are still around.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good number.
It's a good number, but that's also 11 players that you paid money for that never amounted to anything.
I think you could do that on every roster.
Yeah, but if we're talking about trying to be the most efficient here, right? That doesn't make sense. Like, it's a simple. Yeah.
Read that.
Yeah.
Read it out for him.
I'll read it out. Yeah. Look at these middle of the pack recruiting
classes.
classes.
Who's the comment first?
It's from Cam.
There you go.
From Cam. Again, look at all these middle of the pack recruiting classes. All make it far in the playoff. They all have one thing in common: minimum roster retention, strong transfer portal additions. Look at this Indiana team, right? The fact that, you had one good year, you kept a couple players from that team, you added players, you added, an elite quarterback 1 year, turns into, the best QB your program's ever had. And next year's Indiana roster will look incredibly different again.
And they're cheating.
And they'll be very good again.
They're cheating. They've got your practice film, apparently. They've hacked all the practice servers. They know what plays you're running before you even call them.
No, Cam, I really think there's so much truth to what you're saying. And I don't know what direction any of this is going to go. And I feel like I've repeated that.
Right. But there's not really a place still. You've got your $8 million supplemental money, whatever it is, your $10 million supplemental money past that $18 million in rev share money. Like, how do you allocate it? Do you say, you got $10 million, Theo? You go 3 players, you say 3, 6, 9, and three players, everybody gets $3 million. Like, would Cam Coleman? Like, who else? Would Cam Coleman? Would Jakaris Peak? Right, you're the tackle, the big tackle that everybody was sad about missing. Cam Coleman, Jakaris Peak, Hollywood Smothers. Does that take you from how many wins does that add? 1.5?
Well, now we're talking about just normal football roster construction, right? We're talking about the same thing that NFL GMs talk about every year, where, okay, we've got our $18 million salary cap. How are we going to build a roster? And, you see, we can bring this right to the NFL right now. We can say, oh, look at the teams that pay their quarterbacks over a certain threshold of the salary cap, and look how they almost never win the Super Bowl, and how you have to build a balanced, nuanced team. Like, we can take that approach to college football roster construction. We can go out and we can say, oh, okay, Alabama, we want to allocate no more than 7% of our salary cap to the wide receiver room, or whatever.
Sure.
All the analytical games that these NFL teams play, we can just bring them right over to this level.
And now you're playing Moneyball.
Now we're playing Moneyball. And every single year, you're bringing in a completely different roster. You bring these guys in saying, yeah, you guys will play a season for us. We'll reevaluate everything in 1 year. You may not be invited back onto the roster.
Like, look at the defensive line class. Chaz Coleman from Penn State went to Tennessee. Damon Wilson, Missouri, still uncommitted. And there are rumors about Damon Wilson coming to Alabama and visiting this, that, and the other. I don't know how strong that is. James Smith is your third best guy in the portal on the defensive line, and you lost him. Like, what do you say? I've got $10 million. You divided it by 4 players, by 3 players. Like, all the fans want a superstar player, and they will, of course, like, they should want that. They should want the best players. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with, hey, I wanted Cam Coleman because he was awesome at Auburn, and I want to say Nana Boo Boo at my Auburn friends. But can you get the same thing from Sedarian Morgan, from Derek Meadows, from Rico Scott, and Ryan Williams? Like, you've also got Lazier Brooks. Like, is the wide receiver room really a need? Do you need to spend that $3.5 million on Cam Coleman when the wide receiver room is developing? Now, I like what Cam has been saying. You need offensive linemen. You need it. Like, if you can be upset about Hollywood Smothers, okay, you can, but you need offensive linemen. You need to go spend some money in the offensive line to protect Keelan Russell or Austin Mack, whoever it is. You need to have somebody on the offensive line to open up holes for Daniel Hill, Kevin Riley, for EJ Crowell, for AK Deer. Like, you gotta, the offensive line needs help. So that's kind of where, like, we want to wrap this bad boy up. You got to go to class, but, like, I am not sitting here thinking that the staff's doing a bad job. I don't think that. But I do think the staff needs to look at the offensive line and say, hey, whatever money we have left, whatever it's $6 million, $3 million, $2 million, $1 million, whatever it is, we need to find a way to get the best offensive linemen with this money. Because I think you're set pretty much almost everywhere else. Set enough to go into the next year and roll the dice with, to say, hey, maybe these guys have developed.
Yeah, right. We've gone a million different ways. You can talk about the long-term impacts, but yeah, for right now, for this, the rest of this cycle, bringing in the best talent, I agree with you. Line is where everything needs to fall.
All right, so you're going to class. What's the new class on Mondays?
Spanish.
It's
not fun. Joe, I'm set to graduate in a couple months, and that's all contingent on me passing a Spanish class, and I am struggling.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Bien.
Yeah.
You too?
Muy bien.
Muy bien. Nah, it's rough. Spanish 200.
¿Tienes una cerveza?
No.
¿Dónde está el baño? I got basic Spanish. I got very bad, but conjugating and verb tenses and all that stuff. Yeah, I struggled with that part in high school.
So I will be hard at work on that on my Monday mornings this semester. But get it done, overcome, and We'll make it happen.
There we go. Theo Fernandez going to Spanish class, and you guys are having a great Monday as well. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us. Cam, thanks for all your comments. I think you made a lot of great points. Thank you, especially for your voicemails as well. Great to hear your voice. Hunter, great to hear your voice as well. I know you're really upset about the basketball team and the football program. I think Hunter brought up a great point. Where's all the money going? And allowed us to do a little math there.
Yes.
So, and like, it's not $20 million. It's closer to 18, 9. Because the basketball, like, LeBaron Filon's making a lot of money right now.
Oh, yeah.
and you want to tell me you want to take some of LeBaron's pocket change out of his pocket and say good luck in the NBA G League instead? Like, because that's what it would have been. Right there. So I think you're looking at 17, 18 million in rev share. And I think you're looking at somewhere between 8 and 12 supplemental. So the football team is probably around, that's what, 26
Yeah,
to
it'd be
26 to 30. And you got to look, everybody's probably getting close to $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, and it goes pretty quickly. So you got to make some smart decisions, make some hard decisions. Alabama fans, you got to survive the transfer portal for 4 more days. Hopefully, look, you bring Bray Hubbard back. If Bray says I don't want to go to the NFL draft in the next week, and you bring him back, like, it's not as bad as it looks. Now it's concerning, and I think Cam's right. I think the offensive line is highly concerning. But just take a deep breath. I think it all will work out. We will talk about it more tomorrow with Mason. Mason will be back in the studio. We'll be talking about the basketball program. Basketball is headed to Mississippi State on Tuesday. We're going to a press conference at noon, so you can see that on the BamaCentral YouTube channel as well. And we're going to have a great Monday, and you guys will as well, right here on BamaCentral, BamaCentral.com.